everyone. Happy Monday. Portugal is out of the World Cup, and welcome back to the show. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today, like every single weekday, we are coming at you live from our studio here in the beautiful, it's really cold Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily live show. Today, we're talking Sam Bankman-Fried. Well, he's talking, and we're talking about him talking. We're also talking about CZ, Binance. They are in hot water. Criminal charges might be coming. Their proof of reserves audit, quote unquote audit, is under fire. And so we're going to talk about it. And
are they going under?
No, not they're going under.
Oh, okay.
They're under fire.
Oh, okay.
From a lot of places. And Zhao, I'm sorry. It was nothing towards you.
João.
It's João. It's for Robin. I actually liked Portugal. I wanted them to win. But, you know, I don't know what the hell the coach was doing. Anyways, at least they beat Italy. But the point is this, guys, is we got a lot to talk about today. And before we get into the content, I have to introduce you to your other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola, it's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take you the boring, the stale information, and package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we discuss the price of Bitcoin. It's just sitting at $17K. What do you know? $200 above where it was the last 2 weeks.
Just sitting there or what?
It is just sitting there. It's been flip-flopping and hip-hopping and skip-scapping around 16.8 to 17.2.
So exciting, right?
This is the week, though.
There's a move coming.
This is the week.
The move is coming,
where
guys.
We're going to find out what's the new price for Bitcoin. Where is it going to be hanging out? I mean, are you in 100% agreement that after this week, we're going to be at a new range? Maybe 20K, maybe 15K, right? I feel comfortable saying, no, the days of 16, 8, and 17K, gone. Those days are gone. And by the end of the week, come Thursday, Friday, we're going to be in a new spot.
You know, okay, so let's run it down. If, let's say we get 25, which we're not going to get, it's definitely going to
elaborate. 25?
25 base points.
Okay.
If we get 50, which is what everyone's expecting, that's where I don't know, because we know 75, we're going to get a big drop. So the question is 50, which is what we're expecting. What's the price of Bitcoin going to do? That I don't know. Is it going to rally? Is it going to go down? What do you think? You think we're coming at 50? Which, by the way, do not miss our special FOMC live show on Wednesday. We have Garrett Soloway. We have Magic Internet Money joining us. You want TA, you're going to get TA. You want insight on the Fed, you're going to get insight on the Fed. It's going to be our best show so far this year. So Sean says the World Cup is on during the FOMC meetings. Well, you can always, have your TV with Sin City Crypto on, and then have an iPad or something, maybe a phone, to watch the World Cup on the side. What do you think, Robin? If we get 50, of course we're projecting here. But do you think we're going to stay flat, or we're going to see movement either to the upside or the downside?
What I want to know is if we're going to get France again in the World Cup final. That's what I want to know. What was your question?
If we get 50.
Okay, 50.
Do you think we're going to be range bound? Do you think the markets are going to react anyway, whether it's negative or positive?
There's going to be volatility. Things are going to, even if it is at 50, Powell's going to come out afterwards, answer some questions. Everyone's going to overanalyze all of his words. They're going to deconstruct everything he says and be like, oh, man's bullish. He said this, this, and this. And for that reason, the market's going to rally. And so I think the expectation is 0.5, right?
Yes.
And so I don't foresee a deviation unless with tomorrow the CPI numbers come in. This
week is going to be,
if they fall right. Okay. If the CPI numbers that come out tomorrow,
projected 7.3, by the way,
if they fall in line for the expectation, and there's not, say it's a 0.1 above or 0.1 below the expected CPI number, then I think 100% for sure 0.5 basis points. I think, and then we just overreact to Powell's words, and yeah.
You know what I think is more important than CPI is the core, right? The core inflation. It came in at 6.3 2 months ago, went up to 6.5, I believe, came back to 6.3. I think even if CPI comes in at low sevens or even sub seven, like 6.8, 6.9, which I don't think it is, and core inflation has stayed the same or gone up, I think that's cause for concern for the Fed to just say, hey, let's just do one more 0.75 and we'll go from there. But, Powell did his last speech was at the Brookings Institute on November 30th, which will have that entire thing broken down for you on Wednesday. But essentially, he gave the notion that they're going to start slowing down. But again, they say one thing. Yeah, I think it's right for us to slow down or take a pause, or we're at a restrictive level. But if these numbers come out tomorrow and core inflation and or CPI numbers aren't favorable, and the employment market is tight, or the unemployment numbers aren't going anywhere, then I'm just saying, guys. I don't think if you think 75 is off the table, you should think again, because I don't think it is.
I think tomorrow we'll know if 75 is on the table, right?
Yeah.
If we come in and expected with CPI and core inflation, let's just say no giant shocker there, then at that point, I think you can pencil in the 0.5 now.
Also, what's important...
So make sure you tune in tomorrow. That's going to be a big day tomorrow too, man.
Yeah. Also, what's important too, guys, is what you need to know is every year the FOMC voters, 4 of them change. And so, of course, you have the 12 Fed presidents. Some are dovish, some are hawkish, some are neutral. And next year's is changing, right? Every year it changes. And so we're going to have that breakdown for you. Again, do not miss Wednesday's show or tomorrow's show. It's going to be really, really good. Let's get into the markets. Let's see what crypto and Bitcoin are doing, Robin.
All right. So real quick, I just want to give a real quick shout out to a couple of new people in the chat. We got Dashing, Sweaty Dave.
Through the snow.
And we also got DRS, who says, hola from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
I love my Puerto Ricans.
I love my Puerto Ricans.
Now,
our friend Charles is Puerto Rican.
He is Puerto Rican.
Good dude.
Very good observation.
Great guy. Good looking guy, too. Anyways.
Okay. So we got Bitcoin coming in at $17,025.50. And so just to get a quick overview on how we got here, I know we kind of discussed it before, but been trading in this range.
We got here via Sam.
Thank you, Sam, for that early Christmas gift. Now, we were at 20,000 up until, let's see, November 8th. And then now, let's see here. Since November 8th, we've been down. So in this little range. Is it time for another breakout? I think so. That's what
but I think it's coming to the downside. Hold on. Before you move on from Bitcoin, Robin, a couple of things. First of all,
senor.
Jimmy is back. Jimmy, we miss you, man. I feel like I haven't seen you in the chat a lot. Jimmy, our official Sin City hype man.
You know, I called him the other day. I was like, Jimmy, where the hell you at, man?
Yeah, we miss you, Jimmy.
I was like,
we miss you.
We
love you all. But Jimmy's been our hype man. Also, Jimmy's our tech lead here as well. Speaking of price movements, so they call lifers Sammy Cup and Handles. They call me, well, I call myself David, the flag bearer, or that's not a cool nickname, but so I like to find flags.
Stop trying to create nicknames for yourself. That was
at least I didn't create my own, Big Rob. Show what you're putting on there, Rocco. Yeah, that's what I thought. Rocco's over here throwing shade behind the scenes.
Freaking. Our Puerto Rican friend Charles was the one that gave me the name Big Rob.
Big Rob? Sure, Robin.
And so I ran with it.
It's funny. Nothing's big about you. Your biceps aren't big. You're not really tall. You don't have a big personality. Well, I guess you have a big ego.
I also have a big
nostrils. So as far as Bitcoin's price movement, so this is Bitcoin on them. Let's stop us from being canceled. Bitcoin's price movement, this is a 1 hour chart. So this is a classic bear flag where you see move to the downside followed by a up rising parallel channel. And these typically do break to the downside. Now, I want to note, right, with TA, you look at price movement, you look at probabilities, right? It's all about probabilities. And the probabilities say around 75% of the time, these patterns break to the downside. But caveat, CPI numbers tomorrow and the Fed meeting on Wednesday. So if everything comes in favor, right, good CPI print, good core inflation print, FOMC does, let's say 50 or maybe even 25, then this flag just could be null and void. And we can see a move to the upside. But if we take a move to the downside, I am expecting us to retest these levels here, right around 16,700, which is kind of where we traded for a couple days, maybe a day. This is a 1 hour chart. If we break to the upside, however, let's say they come in and they do 50 basis points and we break to the upside. I'm going to go on the 4 hour chart. I would expect us to test this level right here between 17.2 and 17.3. Super bullish scenario, right? This is extremely bullish in my opinion. Not very likely we can retest this top here at 17.6. And if we're ultra bullish, we can retest 20.
So you're super bullish, hoping for ultra bullish? Is that what you're
super
like? I'm like listening to your adjectives today. I'm like, he's like, I am super bullish.
There's levels to
we
this
can
stuff,
get
bro.
to ultra bullish, and God forbid we get a
Superior
0.25.
bullish.
If you get 0.25 interest rate hike, we're gonna go uber bullish. So
That's right, baby. No, in all seriousness, guys, I don't expect us to break over 17.8, 17.6. I hope I'm wrong, but if numbers come in bad and they go 75, I would expect a test of 15.5, a retest of our essentially our cycle low here, which is $15,519. There is a lot of buyers that would step in at that price range, so I don't think we'll stay down there for too long. And then one last thing, as far as Bitcoin, before we move on to some other coins, balance on the exchanges. So Binance has seen a large withdrawal of Bitcoin, much bigger than what we've seen kind of across the board. So you have a total of 7,000 Bitcoin over the last 24 hours leaving exchanges, 7,600 from Binance. Of course, you do have some positive. You have some inflows as well from Bitfinex, OKX, Bithumb, and also FTX did see 0.19 Bitcoin enter.
Oh, they got 13 Bitcoin.
No, 0.13.
0.13 Bitcoin.
Yeah. And then over the last,
I actually have more Bitcoin than an entire exchange.
No, the entire exchange has 13.07. Anyway,
I don't even have 13 Bitcoin. Damn it.
I don't either.
I was super excited there for a minute.
So, over the last 7 days, guys, 15,600 Bitcoin has left Binance. If you remember, they were seeing large outflows just like 10 days ago. And now the people are starting to take money off of Binance. And we have a few reasons why. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But in the meantime, let's get back to see what the markets are doing. Robin?
All right. Well, we got Mark T from Poland. He's dropping a hola.
What's up, Mark?
Across the pond on a little island. No, Poland's not an island. What am I talking about? Oh boy. All right. So taking a look at the rest of the crypto markets, we have a lot of neutral here. Almost everything is sitting right at zero.
You know what's not?
BNB is down 5%. Obviously because of some of the narrative that's circling the news outlets right now, and then also XRP down 2%, which is kind of interesting because your boy Charles Hoskinson has been making predictions for a settlement or a end to the case, and he said as soon as Wednesday or Thursday,
the 15th. So you say 3 days
Thursday,
from now.
yeah. So if that happens, could you imagine CPI numbers on Tuesday? Fed interest rate announcement on Wednesday, XRP lawsuit settlement on, or say into whatever resolution on Thursday, and then come Friday,
Wow.
you know, who knows?
That's going to be a ultra day.
Maybe Gary Gensler will be, that'll be a Uber,
And then Friday,
Uber
they
bullish.
out Gary Gensler. He's gone.
Yeah.
What a
yeah,
week.
the
That would be the
retirement,
best
yeah.
week in crypto.
Well, that'd be kind of cool.
We're actually going to go over the Charles stuff, but as far as BNB, I mean, the bar. So
Doge down 8% too, by the way.
there's rumors that Elon might create a Twitter coin to use it as a payment rail, essentially on Twitter, and so everyone's speculating, of course.
Twitter coin?
Well, it's rumor. Okay, he hasn't said anything about it. It's just rumor.
You think he would backstab his own dog project like
Hell
that?
yeah, it's not his
You
project.
know, he's suspected to be one of the largest holders of Dogecoin.
Yeah, but he's not.
The private wallet, the largest private wallet holder of Dogecoin. I think Robinhood at one point was the largest holder. I don't know if they still are or not, but
Yeah. So I found another flag, and this one's on BNB. I guess we can show the chart. This is on the 4-hour chart on BNB. Nice. Again, bear flag does break to the downside. We should expect to see a move if this plays out. And again, it all depends. TA goes out the window when big stuff happens in mainstream, right? 5.5% to the downside. You're looking at a price target of call it $256. Are you comfortable, Robin, with everything going on with Binance? And we'll get in more detail here in a few minutes. Are you comfortable picking up BNB at $250, $260?
I don't want any exchange tokens. Even buying. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's just a lot. Why take any risk?
Too much risk, right?
Yeah. Why? I mean, here's the thing. What do you think the regulators are going to want to do when it comes to regulation and exchanges? Obviously, they're going to want.
They're going to want the hammer.
They're going to want what happened to FTX to never happen again, right?
Right.
And what was the essential straw that broke the camel's back?
Z.
But what was CZ doing? He was dumping the FTT token. The FTT token was basically used as a money printer for FTX. And not to say that they wouldn't have went under without it, but definitely the catalyst and the major factor to why FTX went under the way it did and when it did was because of their own token. And they were allowed, or they enabled fraud by using or leveraging their FTT token. And so I can see a scenario where the regulators come in and they're like, hey man, this exchange tokens, that's not good. You can't operate an exchange and print money at the same time. You're not the US government.
And you ain't paying us enough money for us to look the other way.
The central bank of US government, they're like, that's our job, bro. We're the ones that print money here, right? And so, yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's a bad look right now. Now, will Binance be fine as far as the BNB token? I think so. I don't think it's gonna go to zero. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. And even if the doomsday scenario did play out, and say there was some regulation banning exchanges from using exchange tokens, remember, Binance Smart Chain is still a decentralized protocol, and you can still operate, still trade the Binance token through Binance, not the US version, and it would still be 100% green light go, right? And so I don't want any exposure to it, because we know what would happen. We saw what happened to the price of XRP when they got into a litigation issue with the SEC or lawsuit. And the same could happen with Binance. And so, why take the risk? I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and then all the other layer ones, I think are just way safer plays right now. Remember, you're in the bear market. You're going to make some money. And you're not going to make any short-term gains on anything, right? Is there anything right now that's going to 10x?
Doge.
Stop.
SHIB.
No. Come on.
No.
Nothing is going to 10x unless you just happen to hit a lotto and you pick a project that's in the top 100, and all of a sudden they get a big partnership with somebody and they get listed on, you know what I mean? Like
even then,
you're not going to get a 10x. And so if you're looking for long-term gains, you're trying to find a project right now to pick, to invest in and come out 6 months from now, a year from now, 4 years from now, with a little bit of upside returns, then it's not going to be 10x, bro. And so mitigate your risk, man. Take your time. Do your research.
While we're on the topic of BNB and Binance, let's just go ahead and talk about some of the news circling Binance. So not good.
Before we get into the news, breaking news on me. We are lacking on the like button. You, why have you not hit the like button? Hit it now. Thank you.
Wow. And that service announcement is brought to you by the most aggressive YouTuber on. So here's part of the reason why BNB is dumping, and people are kind of, I don't want to say spreading FUD, but, not saying nice things about Binance. The U.S. Justice Department is split over whether to charge Binance with criminal charges. So this is some serious stuff. This is sourced from Is it Reuters or Reuters? Reuters. All right, Reuters. I'm going to go with my boy Kyler.
I think it's Reuters.
Reuters. The investigation began in 2018 and is focused on Binance's compliance with U.S. anti-money laundering laws and sanctions. Some of the at least half a dozen federal prosecutors involved in the case believe the evidence already gathered justifies moving aggressively against the exchange and filing criminal charges against individual executives, including founder Changpeng Zhao, aka CZ. Charges under the investigation are unlicensed money transmission, money laundering, conspiracy, and criminal sanctions violations. Rob, if they file criminal charges against the world's largest exchange, against crypto's biggest billionaire, what kind of ripple effects, Rob, are we would you expect to see if we wake up one day, Binance CEO charged with criminal charge of money laundering and this and that?
What kind of world?
What kind of ripple effects are we going to see? Okay. Would that be bigger than FTX going down?
At some point, no, it won't.
Because it'll get
at some point.
You think
crypto?
Okay.
At some point, crypto is going to be comparable to the traditional legacy systems and the big central banks and all the large banks and the hedge funds. The same system that we have now, where things happen and the ecosystem just keeps chugging along, is the same thing that's going to happen to crypto eventually. And you got to think, JP Morgan, Chase, they have paid a ton of money to the SEC in fines and lawsuits. So has Bank of America, and so has all the hedge funds that have been around for 100 years. And so if charges come up against Binance, yes, it's FUD. Yes, it'll scare the market. Yes, the price will dump. However, at some point, this is going to be normal behavior. People are going to get caught doing things that, in hindsight are illegal. Now, you can sit here and, say hey, manipulation, whatever. But you got to think a lot of these exchanges, they operate outside the U.S. and they just have money from U.S. institutions. And for that reason, they fall into jurisdiction with the U.S. Justice Department. So I think, yes, it would tank the price short term of Binance.
It would definitely cause a bank run, right?
BNB token for sure. It would cause a bank run and Bitcoin would probably dip. But what I want to stress here is that this stuff happens all the time. That there are charges brought up against the major banking institutions, these large companies, and so I just hope that at some point we can move past this.
But here's the thing, right? When I believe it was Jamie Dimon, or when Chase had to pay $2 billion, when Wells Fargo, that scandal was uncovered, did people really do a bank run? Did people rush to take their money out of Chase and Bank of America?
That's what I'm saying, man. And the Wells Fargo thing, that was like 4 years or 5 years in the making. They're still they almost broke up the whole Wells Fargo. The whole bank almost got taken apart by the U.S. government because they had the largest amount of checking accounts. A lot of that was fake checking accounts, though. But Jimmy dropping 10 gifted memberships. So big shout out to you, Jimmy. Thank you,
Jimmy. We love you and we miss you.
And we also got a couple new people in here. We got NSLHD. We also got Swing It Investing, Jax Jetty, and yeah, that's all I got. Hola, welcome.
There's also so not just the possibility of Binance getting criminal charges filed against them, but they just released their proof of reserves and it raised some red flags. Sourced from the Block, which, by the way, real quick on the Block, if you watching, I know Robin and I and everyone here, we know, but there's reports, well, not reports. Sam Bankman-Fried was funneling money to the CEO of the Block.
Is that a topic today? Because I got a lot to say about that.
No. Well, yeah. We can talk about it right now.
All right.
So the Block, which is, if you notice, a lot of our articles come from the Block. They put out a lot of content, but Sam was funneling money to the CEO of the Block, which, by the way, has subsequently stepped down as a CEO of the Block. 3 separate loans. The last one, the guy used to buy a villa in the Bahamas.
Ooh.
And so apparently the Block was getting paid, or they were incentivized to write, to downplay and spread FUD for projects
Now,
like
the
Cardano.
CEO that stepped down, he said that money did not go to sway the information on the news. And
Right.
that they still provided unbiased journalism.
Do you buy that? No. Hell no, bro. Come on, dude.
If it was a loan you had to pay back and you made it public and whatever, then I guess you could make that narrative and be like, look, man. Yeah. But realistically, like, come on, man. You getting a third loan and you keeping it hush hush. And the first loan gave this dude enough money because he wasn't the CEO at the time to buy up the shares of the other board members to become the CEO.
Right.
And so Sam basically took him like a mole and was like, you get in here, here's some money, and go on, take over the company.
Buy yourself a penthouse.
Yeah. And then he got a second one. He's like, oh, yeah, by the way, don't tell nobody. I'm like, ain't that illegal? Yes, but don't tell nobody. And then he's all like, now, there is a very nice property right across the street from my house, and it's for sale. And if you would like to buy it, please do.
My bad. Sorry, Rocco.
And yeah, man. And my question is this something that is happening with regularity across our space? Do you think that the publications and
I mean, Rob,
I start questioning like, where are we getting our sources from? Because I think they're reputable, right?
I mean, up to this point, we thought the Block was reputable.
Yeah.
Like we don't. I'm sorry, but we verify articles, but we don't do deep dives on the reporters, right?
Yeah.
But here's I don't know, dude. Like, look at us as a YouTube channel, right? With 61 subscribers, we get emails to promote content all the time to offer to pay us to provide positive coverage for their project. You don't think some of these larger ones are paying these news outlets the same? They're doing the same thing, but on a larger scale. Like, I don't buy that. Do you buy that? You think there's more of this going on, right? I mean, it happens in mainstream media too. I'm not trying to say that every news is bad news, but that's why you always verify, right?
100%, bro.
What do you think, Rocco? You think this happens not just with the Block and Sam? It happens kind of. I wouldn't doubt if CZ owns CoinMarketCap. I want you guys to know that. Binance owns CoinMarketCap.
Happen all the time, even legacy media.
Yeah,
so absolutely, all the lobbyists.
Of course.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally, quid pro quo, right? I pay you this money, you do this.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere. It happens with our politicians. Hey, I'll donate $10 million to your campaign. Just make sure this one bill, this is added to it. Like, I mean, come on. It's just, it's just the name of the game, man.
I mean, here's just one example here. I mean, here's something. CoinMarketCap, as you said, owned by Binance, right?
Yep.
Well, you can go here and you can go to
News.
Where's the news at?
They disappear. News.
Yeah, the news is gone, man. Anyways, yeah. So here, I mean, you have all these news articles. Now, is this a conflict of interest? Obviously, we're discussing FTX and their partnership, under the table partnership with Block, as a concern.
And this is public knowledge. And I want you guys to know something. Okay, Rob, will you go to the homepage and scroll up? And this is a fact because I spoke with a project founder. Just click on CoinMarketCap on the top left. You guys see where it says trending? Where it says, no, not trending. Trending. Those are paid spots. If you click on that and you see what's trending, no, it's not trending. It's hot. I guess they don't have it anymore. Spotlight. Go to Spotlight.
Yeah, it was trending. Yeah. I remember us having this conversation. It was trending.
Yeah, it was trending.
100%. Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if this is happening now because, of course,
it's still happening.
I'm saying we see Bitcoin, PancakeSwap, and ARK up there. But those are paid spots. So I can go in with a new project and pay CoinMarketCap to list me on top of the trending and to get more visibility.
Yeah. If we had a scam coin, we could pay $10,000 and for 48 hours, our token will be here on trending. And once again, this is owned by Binance. And so it draws into question, like, look at this. Portugal national team fan token is trending.
Yeah, down 60%. So the point is this, guys. This stuff happens not just in crypto, but across everything, right? Money buys you power. Money also buys you influence. And money buys you what you want from these media outlets. And so 99% of these people can be bought. That's why people are saying, that's why you've seen this big, massive movement on Twitter with these Twitter spaces and this and that. It's regular people who have access to a platform that they can now voice their opinion and not have to worry about getting canceled, whether you side with their narrative or not, right? They have the right to speak it. And so is like something like Twitter the Web3 of a news coverage and journalism? It's an interesting topic. I guess I think that'll play out. And we'll see how that plays out here in the next few months, to be completely honest with you. But let's get back to Binance and why they're under fire. So their proof of reserves was released. Binance's efforts to improve transparency of its reserves also exposed red flags in the crypto exchange's finances. The report released by the audit firm Mazars lacks information related to the quality of internal controls and how Binance's systems liquidate assets to cover margin loans. Another red flag raised by the newspaper sources regards to the lack of information about Binance's corporate structure. Goes on to say, the exchange's proof of reserve shows that Binance was 97% collateralized, excluding assets lended to users through loans or margin accounts, indicating that the 1-to-1 ratio of reserves to customer assets was not achieved. John Reed Stark, which is the former chief of the SEC's Office of Internet Enforcement, said, quote, Binance's proof of reserve report doesn't address effectiveness of internal financial controls, doesn't express an opinion or assurance conclusion, and doesn't vouch for the numbers. I worked at SEC enforcement for 18 plus years. This is how I define a red flag. A lot of people said when you do this proof of reserves, which by the way, what Binance released was not an audited proof of reserves. It was an agreed upon procedure, AUP, which is they didn't go in and it's not fully audited. So if someone's saying it's audited proof of reserves, no, they are not audited. They are not audited. Same way Crypto.com's was not audited, right? And they're saying that, hey, you should categorize your loans and your collateralization not on dollar amount, but Bitcoin to Bitcoin. So instead of saying people have 500 Bitcoin on the exchange and we have $500 million in Bitcoin, we're collateral. No, it should be our customers hold 500 Bitcoin, we have 500 Bitcoin. But I guess the reserves are being denominated in fiat versus the actual asset that people are carrying. What are your thoughts on that, Rob? What are your thoughts on the whole thing? Do you think this proof of reserves thing, as it stands right now, is complete?
I told you the proof
BS?
of reserve is not enough info for the whole puzzle. It's like trying to. It's like trying, if we're going to stay on the puzzle analogy, like trying to determine if you have all the pieces of the puzzle, if everything is complete, but yet you only have a quarter of the pieces of the puzzle. And you're like, yo, the rest of them are in this drawer over here. And you're like, well, do we have all the pieces? Like, no. Is it a complete picture? Is it fraud? Like, the thing is, we don't have the full picture, man. And this is now, is it beneficial that we're having this conversation? Is it beneficial that people want to know how much Bitcoin do you actually have? Yes. But is it the solution? Is it sufficient for understanding that an exchange is solvent and that they have good business practices when it comes to just strictly custodial service? Like, because at the end of the day, man, I don't want to keep my crypto on an exchange. I'm not trying to like use it as a hardware wallet, and a substitute for a hardware wallet. But I do like to keep crypto on an exchange. So that way, if the price moves somewhere, I can go buy it. Or I'd like to dollar cost average.
Well, at the very least.
And the last thing I want to do is go dollar cost average, do a ACH bank transfer once a week. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I would like to put money on there once a month or once every 2 months, make my trades, whatever. If I feel like I'm going to hodl from that point on, remove them. Or, hey, if I want to swing trade, I want to buy something, and I think that its price is oversold or overbought, I want to put it in a position and then maybe wait for it to retrace and then to pull some profits. That might take 2 weeks. That might take 2 months. And I would like us to get to a point where we feel comfortable using exchanges. And right now, I don't feel comfortable. Not even with the biggest exchange out there, Binance.
I don't blame you.
And that's kind of what the problem is in our space right now, is that people don't even trust the regular Binance, the go-to, the standard, right? For an exchange. People are calling into question that platform.
I honestly, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want to call me, I honestly think exchanges are going to be brought to their knees, and it's going to make way for the traditional banking institutions to come in and custody your crypto.
They're already putting the liquidity in, man. They're putting in the infrastructure.
And honestly,
but here's this. So when you say honestly, this is where you're getting at. When you say if there's a lack of regulation, a lack of transparency, and a lack of accountability when it comes to the exchanges that we currently use, I would rather use a federal FDIC insured bank that isn't 100% YOLO'd into crypto, and they can take punches in a bear market and not go under, and provide the same services that you would receive from a major exchange. And so if JP Morgan Chase, if Bank of America offers purchasing and selling of crypto in the same way that you have order books on an exchange, and you have access to the same order books through a custodial agent that is Bank of America or JP Morgan Chase, at this moment, I would rather use them.
At this moment, yes. If nothing changes and everything stays the same, I cannot disagree with you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I want to buy crypto and not have it stolen. Like, as crazy as that is, right? Like, I just want to buy crypto and I don't want to have it stolen. And you know what? If you would have used FTX or Voyager or, certain parts of Genesis, you lost your crypto. If you would have used Celsius, who's better than a bank, you would have lost your crypto. And that's like 30% of the market, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not actually 30%, but in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, major exchanges, Binance, FTX. Oh, hey, you can use Celsius, and then you have Coinbase and whatever. And so in my head, I'm just like, dude, like what is safe? What is safe right now? A hardware wallet is safe, yeah. But like I said, if you want to, do some kind of swing trading, keep money on an exchange, and even though I would like to do that, I still swing trade. I still get in and out of projects, but the way I do it, hardware in, load, hardware off, and then I hardware back in when it's time to offload. But that can be a pain, and you can miss out on extremely short-term price movements. And I don't know, man.
What if Ledger never mind. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I want to pivot to our weekly video from Forrest. And so, in honor of FOMC CPI, today's video is going to be about CPI FOMC. It's going to be charts. We're probably not going to show the whole video, but we're going to show it, and then we'll come back and talk about it. All right, Rocco, we ready?
Had a big week this week between CPI on Tuesday.
Hold on, it's frozen.
And FOM.
Oh, technical issues. Robin, take over.
Hello. I will. Actually, you know what? Let's do something interesting here.
Uh-oh.
Let's do something. Let me end this poll. What was our poll here, first of all?
Will you be watching?
Will you be watching Sin City Crypto's special FOMC? There's a resounding 84% of the chat.
Who the hell said no?
All right. We're going to give the power to the people today. All right. You ready?
Oh.
We're going to give power to the people and create a new poll. How do I create a poll, Rocco? Start a poll. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Who will be on Around the Blockchain?
All right, so we've got a big week this week.
What does that mean? What do you mean who will be?
Well, you have Big Rob or David.
It's going to be you, bro.
Well, if the chat says you,
Who
you
do they
gonna be on.
want?
Yeah, man, we're gonna give the power to the community today.
Wow. Okay.
So you guys can choose who's gonna represent Sin City Crypto on Around the Blockchain today. And so, if you want Big Rob, loud-spoken crypto analyst up in here yelling at people, Big Rob. If you want David, old crazy adjectives and Uber bull market over here representing Sin City
Uber
Crypto.
bull market. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. I think we're ready on the video, by the way.
Never.
Marco,
Let's give it a try.
give it a try.
We've got a big week this week between CPI on Tuesday and FOMC, the Fed rate hike decision on Wednesday, respectively. We've got a volatile week on our hands. So what do we expect for CPI? 7.3% CPI is expected. Anything above that is going to be considered a miss. And in the short term, I think would be very bearish for the market. I don't think the market's going to like that at all, because that would say that inflation's not cooling down as much as expected. And that means that the Fed is going to have to continue to tighten or continue their restrictive rate policy and quantitative tightening policy for a longer period of time in order to get inflation down. Right. And that increases our chances next year of having a hard landing, right? A recession in the market. So we also have FOMC, the Fed rate hike decision this week. There is a 72% chance of a 50 basis point rate hike. There is a 28% chance of a 75 basis point rate hike. 75 basis points is probably very bearish, right? Because that increase that puts more strain on the economy, increases the chances of a hard landing and a recession next year. Now, I don't think that 75 basis points is necessarily on the table unless...
Rob.
Yo.
You think this number is going to change after CPI? CME numbers?
I don't think the CME numbers change that drastically.
Is your vote for 50? Are you on a 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on 50.
Me too. All right.
Oh, the David's about to catch up, bro. 52% of the chat says Big Rob. 48% David. I'm trying to see David on the show.
If we miss CPI tomorrow to the upside, I do think that 75 basis points becomes more likely. However, if CPI comes out and it misses to the downside and it looks like inflation is falling at a faster rate than what the market expects and what we're expecting, then the Fed's going to come in at a cool 50 basis points and say, hey, right, inflation looks to be coming down off of the last two CPI prints. We don't want to over tighten with a 75 basis point rate hike. So this data that we get tomorrow is actually really, really important for the directionality of the market. Now, I do want to draw your attention to the fact that, hey, this CPI is a lagging indicator, and it's a very noisy indicator. There's a lot of variables that go into it, and forecasts are often wrong. Now, one of the most accurate forecast recently has been the Fed Cleveland Nowcast. And this is a chart of the Fed Cleveland Nowcast versus the actual outcome of CPI. And you can see that they've actually overestimated CPI, right? And they're expecting 7.5% tomorrow versus the 7.3% expected number. So they actually expect 7.5%. However, they do, up until last month, they do have a history of overestimating, right? Underestimating. And then last month they overestimated and they were surprised by a very soft print, right? So hopefully for the sake of the market going up, we get another very soft print and we see CPI come in low. However, keep in mind, this is a very noisy lagged indicator. However, it's going to be very important because it's what the Fed looks at to potentially make those rate hike decisions. Now, this is an interesting chart that we covered on Sin City Crypto on Friday. This is the New York Stock Exchange new highs versus new lows. And whenever we see these new highs minus the new lows move into positive territory, usually that is a signal that the bottom has been in. That's what we've seen. We've seen this pattern over and over and over again. In line with bottoms, and it makes sense. If you see more stocks making new highs than new lows, the stock market's usually going to be climbing upwards, and the bottom is very, very likely in. So this is another indicator that we want to pay very, very close attention to over the.
Rob, 2 questions. You think the bottom for the stock market's in?
The bottom of the stock market? Yeah.
You think the bottom's in the stock market?
I think so, man.
Wow. Okay. So then you think there's going to be a soft landing?
I mean,
there's no way to not have a soft landing and the bottom be in, right?
Here's the thing. Well, yeah, a lot of times the recessions are short-lived and they're not quite as, recessions a lot of times don't last 3-4 years, things of that nature. The exception of
on what basis though? On GDP growth? On
GDP
sentiment?
growth.
Okay.
Yeah, usually it's 2 quarters, very rarely 3, and then from there it's a slow, steady climb back out. But it's usually not anything that drags out more than 2 years, 3 at most. Generally, with the exception of the 2008 financial crisis, and so. Could we shape up for a situation where you have a bear market that lasts 5 years, 6 years? I think possible. And did we hit the bottom and it's just going to be a very stagnant growth? And basically you're just waiting for the inflation to play through the system, all the money printing to play through the system. And then once you reset from there, might take 3-4 years, man.
Here's the thing that worries me, right, is the fact that the Fed's not going to have the typical tools that they use to fight the recessions. So that's the one thing I'm worried about. And I don't, one thing, we're not going to get into this, but one thing I don't think a lot of people understand the kind of impact it can have on the U.S. economy is if the petrodollar goes away and these oil, Saudi Arabia, these countries start taking the whole BRICS thing, right? Whereas Russia and China, that could completely destroy the U.S. economy as we know it. It'll dry up the treasury liquidity, or the liquidity in the treasuries market. We'll have a hard time paying our debt back. And they're meeting and they're talking about it. And, you saw Chinese President Xi Jinping go to Saudi Arabia. You saw the reception he got. And you saw when Joe Biden went, and you saw the reception he got. So there's so many factors that can play out either way that can be overwhelmingly good or overwhelmingly bad, whether that's the war in Ukraine and Russia, whether that's the China lockdowns, and whether that's the whole BRICS thing. So I don't think the stock market has bottomed.
What does the chat think? If you think we bottomed in the stock market, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that there is more pain to come, put a 2 in the chat. So
yeah. Let's I want to pivot to I want
to know why Sweaty Dave over here trying to read my body language, man. Sweaty Dave says, no offense, Rob, officially your body language crossed arms indicates that you're distant, insecure, defensive, or anxious.
What if he's all 5?
None of the above.
Liar.
I'm still scarred from Portugal losing.
Yeah. Okay, I got just
I don't
real
know
quick.
why they didn't play Ronaldo.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, just real quick, and we're not gonna go into detail. But when you have a player like Ronaldo and
Who?
you have no room to talk, bro. Your country didn't even make the World Cup. Seriously, like, just stop.
There's a resounding 2, so apparently the
No, it
bottom
hurts.
is not in.
It hurts. It hurts.
It hurts. I'm sure
It
it
hurts
does.
for you, I guess.
No, it hurts for you. You stuttering. All right. I want to pivot to our friend Charlie, as Rob calls him, Hoskins. He says the Ripple versus SEC case might be settled by December 15th. Now, he said rumored. Okay. He's not saying he's got any, hard evidence or hard facts. It's rumored, but still, nonetheless, according to him, unconfirmed reports indicate that the final judgment might be read by December 15th, which is a mere 3 days from now. He said, quote, I heard rumors that the Ripple case will be settled on December 15th, and that could have catastrophic implications for the industry one way or the other. But you just keep moving forward. Regardless of what happens, it's a decentralized ecosystem that you guys control. Speaking of Cardano, the United States of America doesn't get to say that Cardano lives or dies. You do. The world. That's the point of a decentralized ecosystem. Rob, do you agree that anything other than a flat out just victory from Ripple, if they settle or if they lose, would be catastrophic to the cryptocurrency market? Or do you think we're going that way anyways in terms of
to break down
security?
both of those options? If there's a settlement, we just reset. Right? There might be some short-term price action, but we reset, and then what ends up happening is that you have another court case is going to come down. And until somebody fights it tooth and nail all the way to the end in the way that it appears that XRP is doing it now, if there's a settlement, somebody else has to fall on that court case and take it to the end. Otherwise, nothing's going to stop the SEC.
But why would Ripple settle now after 2 years and over $100 million?
That's what I mean. I don't think they're going to settle, man. And supposedly, I mean, this is all speculation, but supposedly they had already had an offer to settle,
And they said no.
and they turned it down. And so I don't think that's coming. I don't think that's on the table. Well, I don't want to say it's not on the table because you know what? At some point, I'm sure Ripple. At some point, there's got to be some incentive to taking a settlement, right? Especially if
I
the
don't
court
know,
case
dude.
is going to take another 2 years.
But I don't think it's going to take another 2 years.
This is it could still go to a
Trial.
jury trial,
Or-
and then
right.
and if that happens, I mean, what's it,
Yeah,
another
that
2 to
happens,
4
yeah.
years? And so, do you think Ripple, if their attorneys and lawyers are looking over the case and like, look, man, we're gonna go to trial. This is pretty inevitable. I'm just saying, if this was a narrative that's going on behind the scenes, it's inevitable that we're going to go to a trial, and this thing's going to take another 2 to 4 years, or we can just settle. We can admit that we did this, but not that, and we can pay $50 million or something, and that'll be it. We can move on with our lives. It's definitely on the table. I don't think it's likely because of the fact that we came this far. And so I would hope that we get an actual resolution, perhaps a dismissal, maybe a judgment of, hey, SEC has no grounds here for this.
Are you concerned? We have a few senators and representatives in our corner in forms in terms of crypto. And one of the biggest ones is Cynthia Lummis, the senator from Wyoming. And she's always been a champion of our space. She's talked about giving control to the CFTC. After FTX, she literally said, I think Bitcoin is the only commodity.
Yeah.
Like, does
the thing is she's super pro Bitcoin. And, she hangs out with all the Bitcoin maxis.
what
And I think at some point,
changed?
man, I think she's just been inundated with the philosophies of Bitcoin. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but if you think that that's the only solution to the issues that we have now in finance and moving value around, and tons of intermediaries making profits off of everyday individuals like me and you. If you think that's the only option moving forward, then you're sadly mistaken. Now, are the future finance leaders of the world, are they in our space right now? I think maybe it's Bitcoin, and maybe it's some new projects we haven't even heard of yet. Maybe they won't come to be for another 3 to 4 years. And maybe it's Cardano, maybe it's Ethereum, maybe it's all of it. And then maybe it's a couple big projects. Maybe it's, I mean, as comical as we say, maybe it is. I mean,
it was comical for Doge back in the day.
Yeah, I heard an interesting argument on Dogecoin being a
payment rail.
A payment rail, being that it's fast and cheap and
proof of work.
It's proof of work, and then on top of that is that it has an average inflation of 3%, which is comparable to the U.S. government's monetary policy with inflation, or their target range.
Can you imagine?
And so, like I don't know. At the same time, I've been wrong about Doge before, been wrong about SHIB before, and maybe we're wrong about what we think is gonna be around in the future. That I don't know, and honestly, nobody knows. But one thing I know with my own heart and soul is that it ain't gonna just be Bitcoin. It ain't gonna be just Bitcoin. There's gonna be other players here, and unfortunately, we're like Cynthia Lummis, and
you think she's been brainwashed by the Maxis?
I think she's been hanging out with Sailor too much, man. She's starting to sound a lot like Sailor. And in Bitcoin Miami, they shared a stage together. Remember that?
They did.
Yeah,
they did. All right, that's interesting. I want to move forward to a new crypto entrepreneur that is going to blast onto the scenes and make everyone lots of money. Just kidding. Sam wants to start a new business. Oh, shit. This is from Cointelegraph. Former CEO of bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX has expressed interest in forming a new venture aimed at paying back the customers he owes money to. He said, quote, "I'm going to be thinking about how we can help the world. And if users haven't gotten much back, I'm going to be thinking about what I can do for them. I think at the very least, I have a duty to FTX users to do right by them as best as I can."
Okay.
Wait, it gets better, Robin. He also said he was certainly not nearly as competent as he thought he was. But I'm going to go ahead and open up a new business.
Okay. What do you think the likelihood is of Sam Bankman-Fried writing his own book?
Like an autobiography?
Yeah.
90%, probably.
90%?
Solid 93.
92.3. I don't know, but good
do you think any of that money will go to any of the users?
Sure.
Here's the question. Do you think if he wrote a book, he would take any of that money he makes and send it to the investors of FTX that lost money? You think there's any chance?
I want you guys, and okay, in all seriousness.
It's a real question.
No.
So if that same mentality is the same mentality that I have when it comes to a separate business, because you start a business to generate income and provide a product. If you're going to write a book, you're creating it to generate revenue and provide a product. And so if you don't think this dude is going to return funds off of the profits that he makes in writing a book about how he frauded people, then why would he return funds if he started a company where his product and derived profit? He wouldn't. If anything, he would use it as a crutch to make more money. He'd say, "Hey, we're announcing the FTT x2 token, version 2, V2." And from there, he would probably make a ton of money, and then he would send some of it over to users, and then he would manipulate it, and he would make more money off of it. I don't believe this dude's got any like ethical bone in his body, and so if you give him a platform to generate revenue, he's gonna do nothing besides take advantage of the system.
Do you agree with me, Rob, in that he is obviously portraying as he wants sympathy, right? The whole thing, everyone makes mistakes. He says, I don't remember to the best of my knowledge continuously. I'm sorry, I messed up. He's taking ownership. He's saying, I want to do everything I can to pay people back. Do you agree that if he continues to portray this message, right, and he keeps doing these Twitter spaces and Forbes interviews and New York Times interviews, that eventually the people that are not deeply connected like we are into the cryptocurrency space will start to believe him?
I mean, I think we're already seeing it, right?
Stop giving him a freaking platform. Stop doing these Twitter spaces. Stop doing these interviews. This is literally what he wants.
Okay, if he reached out to us and said, hey, I want to come on your show.
For what reason? Like, are you willing to answer these questions, yes or no? No, you're not? Okay, screw it. Because at this point, it's just for clicks. I am sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Every time he's on these dumb Twitter spaces, it's the same thing. It's the same questions being asked by the same people in a different format who gets the same answers. And it's always, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, people are going to start believing him. Stop giving him a platform to push his BS narrative of, I'm sorry, I didn't know it happened. I want to do everything I can to get people's money back, because the people that don't truly understand what happened are going to start believing it. It's frustrating, man. And then on top of it, what pisses me off even more, we got Alex fucking Mashinsky tweeting again, saying, "Oh, now
Are we following him on Twitter?
Yes. Oh. He's retweeting stuff like Celsius was like, I'm just baffled that people that stole millions of dollars, a man that told
billions,
a man that sat there a day before he stopped withdrawals and said everything is fine, and even incentivized you to put more money on his platform, is now free to, like, it feels comfortable enough to start tweeting again. What the hell, dude? Like, this is ridiculous, man. These people need to be shunned forever. I don't want to ever see Sam Bankman-Fried's name in crypto. I don't ever want to see Alex Mashinsky's name in crypto. Like, just, and they feel like they can come back into the scene again. And that's not okay with me. We keep giving them freaking platforms. Like, in what reality does this guy think that anyone, like, he can start a new business? But why? People are going to buy into it because, oh, he wants to help make users whole. He messed up. He didn't know. He admits he should have had more oversight. And now he's trying to make it right, guys. Maybe he didn't do it. You're going to see, I'm telling you guys, as long as these spaces, these interviews, and him speaking and answering questions the way he is, as long as it keeps going, the narrative will start to change.
Here's an interesting tweet here from Alex Mashinsky. We have, if you want recovery, go after the people who owe assets to
That's what I'm saying, Robin. That's what I'm saying, bro. And this is not okay.
And put public pressure on them. And then he has a little GIF here or meme. You can make a good deal with a bad person. Is he calling himself a bad person? Is he saying, like, hey, might be a bad person, but make a good deal with me?
So I forget who it was. Someone said crypto is a cesspool. And that's literally what it feels right now.
Dude, the funny thing is that if you want recovery, go after the people who owe assets to Celsius. Celsius literally...
It's comical to even talk about, to be completely
Celsius, stop trying to point the finger at somebody else.
Then you got Kyle Davies and Zusu or whatever the hell. They're in the spotlight again, too. They're joining Twitter spaces. They're like... How is that okay, man? How is that okay?
I do got some new people in the chat. A little shout out here. We got Lance, Dante, Oscar, Brian, Leroy, Lil Bert, Burtown Music Group, Scott Berry. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto. Also, we also got Forrest in the chat as well, pumping up the likes.
Forrest in the chat. What's up, Forrest? Guys, go subscribe to Crypto Stackers Pro if you haven't already. You won't regret it. Promise. All right. Let's take a look at, let's talk about DCG, right? DCG Genesis. I think this is pretty important. So there's some ramifications if Genesis does file for bankruptcy. And here's a few of them. So Genesis liquidation could force a DCG bankruptcy, which, if you're not familiar, DCG stands for Digital Currency Group. They own Genesis, they own CoinDesk, they own Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So big company. to source from Crypto Slate. Hasib Qureshi, which is the managing partner at Dragonfly Capital, discussed the potential consequences of Genesis going into liquidation, aka bankruptcy. DCG's $1.1 billion promissory note to Genesis could be callable in the event of liquidation, requiring DCG to pay the total value of the note immediately. Qureshi discussed two potential scenarios in the event of Genesis going into liquidation, aka bankruptcy. The first is Genesis files for bankruptcy and then pulls DCG into bankruptcy, which would then enter them both into a complex bankruptcy procedure, which you would think they would have to start selling off assets, and who knows what would happen to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Second scenario is that Genesis goes under and then the note itself is auctioned off at a value less than par, but somehow DCG is prevented from going under. The bankruptcy will be so, what the hell word is that? Deleterious to creditors to Genesis.
Deleterious.
How do you pronounce that word? Help me. I mean, I think I'm a pretty smart guy, but some words I just...
I think it's deleterious.
Deleterious. What are you laughing at? You dick, bro. Kyler, you're fired. Just kidding, you're hired again. They said they needed a few more weeks. If you don't understand how vital Genesis is, they are essentially the middleman for a majority of these earn programs you see on these centralized exchanges, Gemini being one of them. And Gemini or Genesis owes Gemini earn customers close to $1 billion. And so if they go under, guys, I mean, that, like, we keep saying this, we're going to keep saying it. The dominoes have not all fallen. Proceed with caution. Take all your money off exchanges. Put it on a freaking ledger. You don't have one? You want to support channel? Use our link. You feel me?
Speaking of Domino's, do you like Domino's pizza?
No.
No?
Actually.
Deleterious.
Deleterious. Causing harm or damage. Deleterious.
I was like, what in the
Deleterious.
serenading robot
Guys,
is that?
I'm sorry.
If a robot has a sexy voice, that's the sexy voice of a robot.
I'm
right there.
sorry, guys, but like, if you're using words like that probably
Deleterious?
90% of people haven't heard of. Marco's Pizza, yes. I was gonna say Marco's
What
Pizza.
about,
you Papa John? Papa John's or Domino's?
It's not Papa John's, it's Papa John's.
I had 3 deleterious this morning with my cappuccino.
Rocco, shut your
You know,
delicious-
Rocco sent us a picture of a pizza with lemons on there.
Yeah.
Like sliced
pizza
lemons
with
baked.
lemons.
You like baked lemons. Did you bake that or
It's a little
was
weird.
Yeah,
that?
you bake the lemons on top
No,
of
I'm
the
saying,
pizza.
did you make that
bake
pizza?
lemons on pizza, but throw shade at barbecue chicken. Make it make sense, bro.
And
Make it make
your,
sense.
Your pizza. Your pizza
Who
is
puts lemon on
disgusting.
pizza? That's
pizza-
disgusting.
Because you don't know the difference
know,
between
a good
syrup.
I think like there's a lot of acidity or a lot of tartness to lemon, and you know what else has a lot of tartness that I enjoy is feta cheese on a pizza.
I love feta cheese. That is my
so
stuff.
I figured the same flavor kind of concept you're
got-
getting from lemons,
Guys,
right?
I
The best
have
combination is, if I may say, is if you do a base with some cheese or mascarpone, some smoked salmon, and put a slice of lemon on top of the pizza, and then you bake it.
Anyways.
Dan, that sounds good. Smoked salmon and
Yeah.
Damn.
let me put you guys on
Sorry,
something, okay?
Dave.
This was my dad's favorite.
Rocco, when's your birthday? I'm bringing
The
smoked salmon
21st
pizza
of
in here.
December. You would know if you actually cared about Rocco. I care about you, Rocco. It's December 21st. But what I'm trying to say is,
I bring up his birthday, and then you say,
you didn't even
I
know
don't care.
my birthday. But you did buy me a really cool jacket that I wore,
was
and
at
everyone
the-
complimented me on it. So thank you, Robin.
How was your pastry? Did you like it?
It was
Strawberry?
delicious.
Okay.
It was delicious. The only thing I'm still waiting for is an I love you from Robin. But either way, guys,
Do
listen.
we got the cricket sound still?
No.
No, it's
I'm
gone.
telling you guys, okay? My dad did this almost every morning. So take some bread, put it in the toaster, butter, feta cheese, watermelon. Trust me. I'm not saying put it all together. Take a bite of the feta
Can't trust
cheese.
you.
When you're done with the feta cheese toast, take a bite of watermelon, bro. I am telling you, money.
I can't trust you with food, man.
Delicious.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I can't.
I know.
I can't trust
I
you.
feel like David has.
What do I got to do, man?
He has.
What do I got to do,
You
bro?
gotta
I
redeem
sit here.
yourself.
I
Do you
remember
have
your
a
birthday.
can of-
no,
do you have a can of that
I
string
sit here
cheese in your- in
and
your-
I
in
remember
your-
your
in your-
birthday.
in your
I
wall?
sit here and I constantly compliment you. I sit here, I tell you I love you, and you constantly throw shade at me, bro. Why?
Because your pizza sucks. Sorry, man. Everything else is very good, man.
Guys, go follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, which is where we're very active.
So you got to understand, the man comes from the home of pizza. You know what I mean? The birthplace
puts
of pizza.
lemons on
okay,
it.
now let me ask you a question. If you go to Portugal, right?
They're out of the World Cup, so I wouldn't.
I'm just saying, you go to Portugal. Okay. If you go to a hot dog stand, okay? Now, hot dogs are American. You're pretty Americanized at this point. And you go to a hot dog stand and they give you a hot dog with everything on it. You know what you get?
What?
You get, first of all, it's the hot dogs that come out of the can. You know, you ever seen the canned hot dogs?
No.
Anyways, they grill those. And then they're a foot long. You know, they're doing it right there. And then what they do is they put mayonnaise, ketchup, carrots, and corn.
It's corn.
Yes. And so wouldn't you be offended? Be like, yo, why are you putting all this on a hot dog, right?
No, because I don't care.
Yeah.
Wouldn't I be offended?
Well, you're
I'm an
American.
idiot.
You'd be like, I thought you would be like, no, you got to have relish, ketchup, and mustard.
And you know what? Sweaty Dave. Okay, I'm changing my vote for Rob Watermelon Feta. No. Have you even tried it? Have you even tried it? All right? Don't knock it till you try it,
They
bro.
don't have to even try it.
All right, looks like Rob is going to be on Around the Blockchain today.
Dang, where were the votes at, man?
Rob, I have an
What
idea.
about the-
Where
Where
I have an idea. I have an
Where were the
idea.
votes at, man?
Rob,
I wanted
what-
to see David on the show.
Hold on. What if we swap? You take one question, I take one question.
No.
Kind of throw people off?
No, you got to be one person.
Whatever.
One person does a thing.
Follow us on social
What's
media.
the food?
Also, check out our merch store. If I know you watching, you're going to go to an ugly Christmas sweater party. Well, guess what? We have a Sin City Crypto Ugly Christmas sweater. And up until Christmas, everyone gets 10% off. And if you're a whale member, you get a special code from now until the end or until Christmas. 15% off for whales, 10% off for everyone else. If you're a whale member, your discount
And we
code.
also got a Rusty Bot in here. He's new. Hola! Welcome.
Rusty Bot. Also, guys, follow us on Twitter at Sin City Crypto 1. Check out all our socials. And if you want to support the channel, we do have some affiliate links and stuff in the description of this video. With that being said, Rocco. Friends, family, friends, and family of friends. We thank you so much for starting your week with us here at Sin City Crypto.
We just need a few more votes for David. 5149. Come on.
Make sure you don't miss tomorrow and our special FOMC live show on Wednesday. It's going to be absolutely amazing. On behalf of myself, Robin, the Don, and Kyler Murray, we love you guys. We'll see you on Around the Blockchain. Until then,